Welcome to Appalachian Harvest.
I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Bonnie. We work here in Duffield at the Food Hub.
This week we are going to be making a cabbage skillet, and all of those ingredients you can find in this food box.
This meal is super nutrient dense with the cabbage, the romaine, the green peppers, so it's a good meal for energy. And with the cabbage, to prepare it, you want to remove the outer layers, and you're going to chop it up down the middle, and that just makes it a little more manageable. You want a good sharp knife and a steady surface. And then from there, you want to take the core out. Now she's cutting it in half to make it a little more manageable. And then we're going to use one of those pieces, maybe both. And from here, we'll make dices so that it cooks faster. And you want to try to get it as even as possible. That way all the pieces are cooked consistently.
Now that we have our cabbage chopped up, this is a one-pot meal, so we're going to go ahead and put it over into our pan. And we're going to move on to the green bell pepper. We're going to start by cutting out this little stem up top. We're going to pull it out. And now cut it in half. Then we're going to cut those in half again to make it easier to handle and take out the seeds. After these seeds are removed, I'm going to go ahead and cut it into a little bit smaller strips. And now these will go into the pot with the cabbage.
And to the cabbage, we added about a tablespoon of butter, and we'll go ahead and add another tablespoon of butter. I'll add another one just for fun. Now I did add salt to this. That helps the cabbage cook down. You want to keep the lid on while it cooks because that helps contain the heat and wilt the cabbage. So now we're just letting the cabbage cook down. This can take 10 to 15 minutes. And when you're putting the cabbage in there, you want to try to not get any stems. Like, so there's a piece of hard stem, just pull those out.
Up next, we're going to be preparing the lettuce. All I'm going to do is cut off the end where the roots were, because we're going to be using it to make a little roll or a wrap for our cabbage dish.
Okay, and then we're going to cut up the apple. As it cooks and caramelizes, it'll add sweetness to the entire dish. These are, of course, Virginia apples. We're just going to give them a quick dice like everything else. And we really only need about half of this. You can use the other half for snacking. Okay, and our cabbage is almost completely wilted. And the apples don't need long at all, so you want to add those close to time to the end when everything's really starting to soften up. And they'll add a little extra bite too. And to this, if we had an onion in the box, we would have added an onion. But since we don't, an easy way to make up for that is onion powder if you have it, and it's shelf stable. I don't really measure anything, you measure with your heart. But I would say half teaspoon. A little more, a little less. This is garlic that I'm adding. Again, if you have fresh, that would be great. And it doesn't have to be added at all. Just add a little additional flavor. And now that everything is melded together, we don't have enough room in this one pot to add our ground beef. So we're just gonna add this to a bowl. You might wanna sit it down because it'll be hot. And we'll just set this to the side so that we can cook the beef. You're going to find that it has a lot less fat than what you normally purchase at the grocery store. So So you'll find that you don't have to drain as much of the liquid out. And from there, we're just gonna chop this up like you would for tacos or anything else. Some variations on this is you could actually flavor this with taco flavoring, some cumin, or you could add soy sauce and garlic and ginger for a little different taste. And now that our ground beef is browned, I'm going to show you a little trick. Instead of having to pour out the grease, which is my least favorite part, just take paper towels and put them in there. And they'll actually soak the grease up. And this kind of eliminates too, if you have kids that are trying to help you cook, you don't have to worry as much walking through the kitchen with a big pan of scalding hot grease. And then we'll just throw that away. And now we're going to add back the cabbage, apple, green pepper mixture. Just mix everything together. And we were saying earlier, there are a couple of ways that you could serve this. You could serve it over rice. You could serve it in a lettuce boat. We're going to show you that here. Or you could do both. So we're going to put a nice big scoop of this in there. Now you could try to wrap this up a little more. And I'm going to add a little bit of white rice to this. Just to add a little, a little bit of bulk to it. And there you are.
And if you want it to stay rolled up, you can add some toothpicks to hold it together.
This is a really cute presentation too. Anything you can get kids to help with, you have a better chance of them actually trying it. And so if you have picky eaters that don't like lettuce, you can just add some rice to a bowl. You can actually eat this by itself. Just make a little cup. And we have some taste testers here today from Appalachian Harvest. Adam, Shannon.
Wow guys, this looks delicious.
Shannon is going to try our roll-up, and Adam's going to try our bowl.
Cheers.
Pretty good.
Is it pretty good?
That's pretty good.
And remember, no farmers, no food.
Support your local farmers.